Well, Rumbleways service station. It's that time where the final preps before we head off to our trip down south. Had a new ramp put in, all ready for motorhome work of all types. So incidentally, if you're down this part of the world and need motorhome work doing, then drop into Rumbleways. Been looking after our cars for a number of years now and do a fantastic job. So today is just about a check underneath, check everything's looking tickety-boo before we do about 3,000 or 4,000 miles in it, and an oil change. We haven't had an oil change since we got the van, and we're now on about 5,000–6,000 miles. Not recommended. First service is not due till 25–30,000 miles on this one, but definitely good to get it done and an oil change to give her a fresh drink before we head off. Yeah, drain plug just there to drop the oil out. Can have a filter put in, oil. Generally a good happy drink that will keep her going around the fabulous European countries that we're visiting, about 8 in all. So this is the chance to get underneath and make sure it's all in one piece. Yeah. There it goes, the old out. First time it's been changed, that is, since we got it. Good balancing act like this. Don't end up getting it down your neck.
No, you want that.
Nice shower. That's what you call an external shower. There's the grey water outlet. These are the two freshwater dump pipes for this van. One of them gets rid of the fresh water down to about 20%, and then the second one will clear the rest of it right out to empty.
Any racing this weekend?
And obviously the back here, this one here, that's where the water drops out from your Combi 6E boiler. If you get the frost protection system cut in, it drops out through these hoses at the back here.
What house is it? Right, what have you bought now?
Similar to my own.
Oh, is it? But better.
This is the AdBlue tank. And then the diesel tank in front there.
Oh, is it? Bike.
I think we've got enough tread on the boots. So what, the back ones are right, yeah, I've definitely got enough.
Don't know how much
Money's not a thing, is it? Let's be honest.
And there, just there, there's a good example of when we were last at the Fiat garage at Cardigan. There was a load of these little screws, all just loose. They were just sort of, you could turn them by hand. So we literally went around with a Phillips screwdriver, working our way around all of the outside of the van, tightening a load of them up. So it's a good chance if you've got a big trip planned. Always good to obviously oil change, but at the same time have a good old look underneath and shake a few things around. As I say, there was some exhaust clips and some cable clips that were loose along the bottom there, which we tightened last time we had it up on a ramp. Yeah, still a fair bit left on the boots. Markers, tyre wear markers are still way down there, so we should be fine for this 3,000 or 4,000 miles. But we'll get them checked while we're at it. 79.5 psi or 5.5 bar, as we're going to be loading the old garage right up again. Those exciting times, loading the van. And these bits here, this little bracket, that was this bit here was loose or had loosened itself last time we had it up, but it's all absolutely rock solid now. So we wound it up well last time we were on the run. And then next stop, filter coming off for a swap over. And a new drink. So we're 7829 mileage, but as I say, we're just about to do about 3,000 or 4,000 through Europe, so that's why I came and got it done. Nothing wrong with a new drink of oil and a new filter to keep us tickety-boo. And while I'm here, you can see there I've kept that trip going, trip A going. We're 7,082 miles now, and then if we just look at consumption, so for just over 7,000 miles we're at 28.8, which is pretty good. We've had it up to 34 when we were in France this year, but 28.8 overall, 7,000, pretty happy with that. And we're just going to stay slightly below the full mark. As the oil heats, then its expansion sometimes causes it to go up over the full mark, which can cause a problem on one or two of the sensors. So we'll leave it just below to start with. So oil done, filter done, good check off underneath, tyres checked, you name it, ready to rock. And of course, as well as finalising the itinerary, we've got to get the packing done. Now, very importantly, I've got a couple of Tenby Brewing boxes of beer, because that's extremely important, of course. Got the levelling ramps, ladder underneath. We're going with the bed down at the moment, so in fact I can show you while I'm here. There we go, that's it lifting. So that's as far as it goes, and that then allows us to get the bikes in. But because we're popping over the water with Carol and Steve, who's haven't got bikes with them, we thought we'll leave our bikes out, and then if we wanted to have a potter about on some bicycles, we can actually hire them from our site in Croatia, where we're static for about 2 weeks. So we can always grab some there, which means that I've placed everything flat on the garage rather than stacked against the back here and bungeed up to keep the room for the bikes. So I've obviously it allowed me to obviously put the bed down. Let's just drop that down again. You can just see it comes down there, almost, not quite, but almost to the bottom of these grooves. Still plenty of room in there, but dead handy to be able to lift that up for the bikes there. And that's obviously the lift switch there. That one was the 3-point power under there. That's obviously the bed now, and it's fully down position, so much different. It comes up to almost here, I'd imagine, which means that you have slightly less headroom if you're sat up in bed there, in effect. So it's nice to which once of course we got to site and emptied stuff out the bikes, then we obviously dropped the bed down. But if we were just between sites only one night at a time, then we often left the bikes in the van, meant the bed was up. So got the luxury of Queen Nikki being able to sleep with the bed down. because as you know, I'm obviously banished because allegedly I snore, so that's my double up there. Never heard myself though snoring. And then generally I just sort of pad everything out. These a lot of these flexible bits and the buoyancy aids for the kayak there, all those are perfect to wedge in between various bits so nothing basically moves around. Good old camping table and chairs, and of course the prized asset has to be a Kadak in the van, and then a few goodies obviously, all the usual sorts of stuff, spare oil, toilet fluids, stuff like that in one box. And then in that one, that's a lot of stuff for the kayak, the 12 volt pump, and a couple of snorkels in there as well. So we're sort of just about ready there. A few bits and bobs, rechargeable lamps and stuff like that in there, spare bulbs. But that's us pretty much ready. Zero the trip, so we get an accurate MPG for the whole of the 4 weeks that we're away. Everything else just about ready. We've got well and truly packed up with the maps and the bits and bobs there, and then got some very important additions to the slidey out cupboard. That's well and truly everything wedged in there. The only thing I could find there, the only thing I could find to wedge in the Ribena was a little, oh dear, it was a bottle of Lafray, because it just seemed to fit well into the space. So I don't know, things you have to do to wedge Ribena bottles in, it is just outrageous, isn't it? And what else? Not got much in there yet, because obviously we can't take much through the tunnel, no dairy and a lot of meat and stuff like that, so we just wait till we get over there for that. But oh yes, I've got one of my freshwater containers I've just put in, second one to go in there, so we can just take 10 litres. I use that for the kettle basically, because the water, that's albeit it's fresh in the freshwater tank, it just gets that slight plastic taste, which is no good for my Yorkshire tea. Can't have that, can we? I managed to acquire a second gas bottle, and they couldn't sell me a 6, but because I didn't have one to take back, so I wanted to keep a spare in effect, albeit obviously not in the van. It's spare in the garage for when we're in the UK. But obviously in Europe it's harder to get hold of, well, you can't get hold of Cala basically. So as we haven't gone to Gaslow or Gasset Systems yet, then what I've managed to get hold of is, and we can see that with the sunlight there, but managed to get hold of a 6, which was the existing one, and then now I've managed to squeeze in a 13. So I think we should be absolutely fine. Over the water, certainly in France in June 2022, we didn't use much at all in the way of gas. So I'm thinking that's probably going to be absolutely fine, unless we did lots of off-gridding and you were using gas for the fridge and stuff like that. But I'm hoping we're going to be finding some pretty warm weather. Right, next job is under the bonnet, checking out my fluids and getting them topped up. And side locker wise, well, this one that the van's hooked up to at the moment, that's just a 10 metre hookup cable. Then obviously we've got a 25 there that I run with as well, 20 odd metre hose. That's a piece, an extra piece I made, just a little 10 metre piece, and then there's an even smaller piece still, this bit of hose as well, which on a couple of sites recently I managed to get that close to the water that I only needed this couple of metres. And what some good chap did, who also owns a Mobilvetta, but he happens to have a 3D printer as well, he made some of these, which is dead handy, because obviously that just fits on the water inlet and allows you to clip the hose onto that. So a few odds and sods and bits of hose and you name it in there, and obviously a couple of warning triangles, and some, in fact just under there, that grey is those are some mats, you know, for if you start to get on soft ground or just need to get something under the wheels to get some grip. There's about four of those grippy type mats in there. And then the all-important European hookup plugs, different adapters, so that hopefully in about 7 or 8 countries that we're heading for, we'll always have a link up. That's that one. And I've had a shunt around as well, in the cab as well. I've moved the first aid kit, the fluorescent jackets there, a couple of fluorescent jackets right up, so they're very easy to get to, as is the first aid kit, and a few other bits and pieces. Not long now. How very exciting. And in this side locker here, just by the hab door, we got it's a great storage spot for the boots in there, and the reserve pitch sign there in yellow, just in case we took the van off site. They often like you to leave one of those to show that the pitch is occupied. And that's us just about prepped. So you've seen the planning. Van's had its birthday with a fresh drink of oil, and the garage is just about full, I think. New logos put on by Sign Speed, badged up, ready to roll. So don't miss the next episode, when we're going to be hitting the Channel Tunnel again and or heading for Belgium for night 1.